Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. You know this, guys? Let me see if I can show it. I can show it well. Jeremy Corbyn! Jeremy Corbyn! Now, I haven't hidden that I have a fondness for Jeremy Corbyn. I have a great fondness for Jeremy Corbyn. I like people who hold their shape. That when pressure and everything else is applied upon them, those people hold their shape. When Jeremy Corbyn was elected Labour leader, people said, oh, that guy would never become Labour leader. Then he became Labour leader. Oh, that guy would never become Prime Minister. That guy, oh, it would never happen. It would never happen. And I wrote it down that that man is going to be Prime Minister of the UK. I wrote it down on multiple occasions. And I didn't write it down just for theatrics. I wrote it down because I believed it. That there is a wave that is going on. Now, I recently, they tried to say that Jeremy Corbyn was a communist informant. Now, this is mind-blowing. Now, I've always made the point that politics in the UK and the United States are a shade away from each other in regards to the way that things flow. I don't necessarily know the direction of that, meaning I don't necessarily know if one starts in one place and the other, but I'm just saying they're similar in the politics. You can understand American politics for all intents and purposes. You can understand UK politics. We're just far more to the right than they are, but just by shade, if that makes sense. Now, in the United States, they're trying to say that the left was inspired by Vladimir Putin. This is the ridiculousness. What they're using to show us is Facebook and Twitter ads. Honestly, Facebook and Twitter ads. If you're not in the United States and you're looking at this from afar, yes, it is Facebook and Twitter ads. It is as ridiculous as you believe it is. A, those things had no effect on the election itself based on studies. And B, even if you say it was Russia, now mind you, they haven't made a connection to Vladimir Putin, but even if you say that it indeed was Russia, A, it had no impact, and B, where is your moral standing to make this argument? We're still in the shadow of Libya. We've destroyed that country. They have open-air slave markets in that country. We destroyed Iraq. We killed 1 million Iraqis. We destroyed aspects of Syria, paying rebels and terrorists in order to undermine that government. We've been killing Syrians. We've been bombing one country after the next. We have a military in 70% of the world's globe. What standing do we as the United States have to make this argument? We've toppled one government after the next, whether you want to talk about Iran, Congo, multiple countries in South America, Greece. We've instigated ourselves in other people's electoral process, including recently, as recent as Cuba, us creating a Cuban Twitter, in order to undermine the Cuban government, to topple that government. This is us. So A, yes, they're talking about social media, Facebook and Twitter ads. Yes, they're using this in the context of 9/11, using this in the context of a Pearl Harbor. That's exactly what they're doing. It's that ridiculous. And on top of that, even if you want to give them the benefit of the doubt and said, yes, Russia had something to do with these Facebook and Twitter ads, $150,000 in Twitter ads. Even if you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, you're stuck with this thing of we do the same thing and we do it worse and we do it more. This is absurd. This is absurd. Now, in Britain, like I said, they've gone with this idea that Jeremy Corbyn is an informant. The reason why they've come up with this ridiculousness is because they understand what we understand. That this guy has momentum about him. Now, this came out today, 11 hours ago. This came out 11 hours ago. They're desperate. Labour to sweep London in local elections with best results for any party since 1968, polls suggest. Survey indicates just 28% of Londoners plan to vote Tory. That's under his leadership. That's under his leadership. Now, whatever you want to say about Jeremy Corbyn, whatever you want to say, at the end of the day, he has led the face of Labour. And people have responded to what he is, him holding his shape, being honest and earnest about the things that he himself believes in. A firm representation of Labour. Jeremy fucking Corbyn. I wish we had something similar to that in the United States. We do not. But at the very least, you guys have it in the UK. Let's look at the article. I've said it on multiple occasions. Your next Prime Minister of the UK will be Jeremy Corbyn. You can bitch, you can moan, and you can be ecstatic at the prospect. But that man is going to be your Prime Minister. He is going to be at that dispatch box in Prime Minister questions. And he is going to do something fundamentally different that Britain has seen in a very, very long time. Let's take a look at this article. Labour is on course for a major election triumph in London that will see it seize Tory strongholds and win a greater share of the vote than any party for 50 years, a new poll has indicated. The YouGov survey for Queen Mary University of London recorded 54% of voters in the capital saying they would vote for the party in May's election, compared to just 28% for the Conservatives. As a result, its forecast shows Labour is set to seize several Tory-held councils, including the flagship borough of Barnet, Wadsworth, and Westminster. It comes after the Independent revealed earlier this month the Conservatives still had no campaign plan for the elections in place. The poll suggests Labour will see an increase on its 2014 London election results, which saw the party win 43% of the popular vote, their highest since 1971, and control 20 out of 32 councils. The inner London, the gap between the two dominant parties is even starker, with 67% of respondents backing Labour compared to just 17% for Tories. Jeremy Corbyn's party also leads the Conservatives in outer London by 13 points. The Liberal Democrats are on 11%, which is almost identical to their 2014 vote share, though they are up 2% in Greater London. Basically, this poll means that the Conservatives are facing difficulties in almost every London council they still control. Philip Crowell, professor of politics at Murray, said. He warned Theresa May that even Kensington and Chelsea, which has remained in the Tory hands for 50 years, could potentially be under threat post-Grenfell. A string of high-profile defeats is likely to make key Conservative London MPs worry about their own constituencies, including Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson, giving Labour activists have launched a campaign to unseat him in Uxbridge. Think about this. Think about this. The guy who they say would never become the head of the Labour Party, the guy who they say could never win the prime ministership, and now this guy who they're saying is somewhat inevitable. They're they're eating their lunch. They're eating Conservatives' lunch. And the moment they have an election, if they have an election either in the next, 5 years, I believe, is the next election schedule, or if they have some snap election, Jeremy Corbyn, I would write this shit in stone, will be your next prime minister. And in the same way that Democrats are looking for a blue wave here in the States at the terror, at the fear-mongering that's been allied at Donald Trump or aimed at Donald Trump, they're trying to do fear-mongering in the UK. It's not working. This is indicative of it not working. So, good fucking job, Jeremy Corbyn leading the Labour Party. And, yeah, good fucking job leading the Labour Party. And good job, momentum, backing him up. I'll leave it at that. This one wasn't meant to be long. This one was just meant as a Jeremy Corbyn. Jeremy Corbyn. Alright, guys. If you enjoy the content, feel free to share, write, subscribe, or like, subscribe. And of course, you can always support through Patreon. This article is at the bottom, by the way. This is amazing news. I remember being at work and having a conversation with the guy who was like, no, I mean, Jeremy Corbyn could never make it. And I'm like, why do you believe that? I mean, A, your perspective of American politics is somewhat comical. And B, I believe less of what you say about Britain politics. And he was found out to be wrong. This is the same guy who thought Hillary Clinton was going to win with 332 electoral votes. That woman couldn't even win the fucking election, let alone break 300. So I made this argument for several years now that Jeremy Corbyn will be the prime minister. And no, this is not his election. But yes, if you're looking for evidence to back that up, this is evidence. This is evidence. So as long as nothing happens between then and now, this man, this dashing figure here, will be your next prime minister. Not the best of pictures, but you know what I mean. All right, guys. Y'all have a good one.